Well, welcome back, everyone. And, well, you know, it's October, and Ted Watkins has been coming on not almost every show. I have with me Ted Watkins. He is an enrolled agent, and yes, he does come on a lot. But you know what? There's a good reason for it, and why don't you tell him why?
All right, Carol, it's great to be back. I always enjoy doing the radio show with you.
And my show, yay.
It's great.
Thank you.
Great. Well, my name's Ted Watkins, and I'm what's called an enrolled agent before IRS. And a lot of you may not have heard of enrolled agents because there's not a heck of a lot of us in the country, only about 50,000. But we're not actually employees of the IRS. And a lot of people, I get a lot of questions about that. I represent you, the taxpayer. And enrolled agents, we do tax returns. I do both personal and business returns. But I also like helping people who have tax issues. And that's a big part of my business, is helping people that, particularly since the economic meltdown, there have been a lot of people that have unfortunately gotten behind with the IRS and the Arizona Department of Revenue. So my job is to help get them off your back. And they're the worst collection agency in the world.
I like to say they're brutal.
They're brutal because they can take all the money in your bank account, and they can take most of your wages or salary. So you don't want to get behind the eight ball with them. So what I do is I help people get their tax returns filed up to date, because that's first of all, you have to be in what IRS calls full filing compliance, which means all your tax returns are filed. And then once we do that, then I can negotiate a settlement with IRS, and they have become a lot easier to work with in the last 7 or 8 years. And we also do a lot of work with other states, Arizona Department of Revenue. I came from California, so I work with the franchise tax board a lot. But I do get a lot of satisfaction, as well as earning a living by helping out people that have tax issues.
And we know there's a lot of them. You've been coming on here for 7 years.
7 years, that's right.
And we, every single time, I mean, 90% of the time, when you do this show, there's a lot of people out there, they may not call directly, they may not call immediately, but you've even said that 4 years somebody's been listening to you, and they finally picked up the phone. Don't procrastinate.
That's right. I had a gentleman about 2 or 3 weeks ago who'd been listening to me pretty regularly for 4 years, and he finally gave me a call. And we're actually working, he has some issues with the state of Wisconsin, so we're working on those for him right now.
And here's the thing with Ted, is he can help in any state across the United States. So anybody he can help. He also has a very sharp pencil. I love saying that about him. He is the most meticulous person I've ever met, so he's not going to miss anything, that is for sure. And he also likes to give away a lot of stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up the lines to the audience right away so everybody can get all of these fun things that he likes to give away, and we'll let him talk a little bit in between. How's that?
That sounds
great. He's got 2 Valley locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. His website is tedwatkinsea.com. You can call him direct. He does do free consultations. His number is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. We have our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. If you haven't done your 2015 taxes, he's going to give you that for free. Everyone's getting entered in to win a business or personal tax return if you haven't done them. And then if you have, for 2016, you're going to get entered in to win a business or personal tax return for that year. Also, he likes to do his tax organizer, which he absolutely loves, and I love it too, because he says 15 pages long. You don't have to really be intimidated by it in any way. You could just look at it for what you need, but everyone should have it, because there's tons of things on there that you could probably see and use to get all of your tax together, and also to know what your deductions are and all of that. Again, he also has his record retention guide. That's the newest thing he's given out. That's 4 pages long, and that is, he says, is the number one question that he gets asked is, what should I keep? What should I keep and hold on to, and how long for? Okay, and the other thing that he's going to give to everybody is a free Walmart card and a Starbucks card, or a Starbucks card. Sorry, or. So 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Phew, we got that out. So let's tell everybody, too, a little bit about the tax organizer, because, right now, guys, everybody knows our files are loaded, and we got to get it all together. So talk about it.
Okay. Well, like Carol said, I have a 15-page, we call it a tax organizer, and it's on my website, which is tedwatkinsea.com, and on the homepage, there's a little icon that says Tax Center, and if you click on that, you can download it in PDF, or we're happy to mail it to you, too, if you don't deal with the internet too much.
Call in here.
So, but anyway, the great thing about the organizer is that it covers just about every different type of tax situation you'll come across. Let's say if you own rental real estate, if you have your own small business, if you've sold stocks and bonds during the year, but if you don't have any of those, it also covers the deductions that you're legally entitled to. And a lot of people miss things because they haven't, if they're doing it on TurboTax won't necessarily ask you all the questions. So if you just spend a few minutes on the tax organizer, you'll probably save yourself a lot of tax dollars. But I also have, if you don't like going through the 15 pages, I have a one-page, what I call what to bring with you or for your tax interview. And it's just one page, but it picks up most of the items that most people are entitled to deduct. So it's a really good thing, but I would encourage you to spend a few minutes on the tax organizer. It'll be time well spent.
Let's talk about the record retention guide, too.
Okay. Well, the record retention guide, it goes over, it's my most often asked question is, what should I keep and for how long? And so it covers both business and personal documents, and it also has a list of documents that you need to keep forever, like your deeds to your real estate, birth certificate, social security card, of course. But
ruh-roh.
Yeah, I don't know where mine is either.
Go ahead.
But anyway, it's 3 pages long, and it tells you how long you should keep all different types of records. It's pretty comprehensive, so it covers just about any type of record most people have.
You also go back for 3 years for people for free. Will you tell everybody a little bit about what that is all about?
Okay, sure, Carol. The IRS allows you to get a refund for only 3 years. So right now that would be your 13, 14, and 15 tax returns. So what I do is, at no cost to you, you just bring me in your copies of those 3 tax returns, and I'll take a look at them. And if they look like they've been done properly by you or a professional tax preparer, I'll let you know. But if I see some things that were missed, or if there's some errors, then we would recommend that you do an amended tax return. But a lot of people, the returns are done correctly. I would say we only do amendments in about 10% of the time, but still, it doesn't cost you anything, and you might save some tax dollars on it.
And for you to do that, they pay you like very little money. And I want to talk a little bit about that, too, because your fees are very reasonable. Go ahead.
That's right. I've been in business since 1978.
Oh, we forgot to say that.
We forgot to say that. But my fees, you will find, for most types of returns, are less than H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, or Liberty Tax. And in most cases, they're considerably less than what a CPA will charge. But that doesn't mean you're not getting a good quality tax return, though, because like I said, I've been in business since 1978, and enrolled agents are actually more focused on taxes than CPAs are. I'm not here to badmouth CPAs, but we do primarily taxes, and CPAs do a lot of accounting as well as taxes. So we'll pick up all the tax deductions you're entitled to take and do a good job for you.
Well, there's nothing like having an enrolled agent behind you doing your taxes for you, whether or not you need help. If you haven't done your taxes or not. He does not charge any more for that, and he does all sorts of wonderful free things for people because he does want to help you. That is what Ted is all about. He's been doing this since 1978, and he has 2 locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. His website is tedwatkinsea.com. You can call him direct. He does free consultations. His number is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. We've got everyone entered in to win either a 2015 or 2016 business or personal tax return. You're also going to get the tax organizer from us, the record retention guide, and the free Walmart card or Starbucks card. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. So we're talking with Ted Watkins. He is an enrolled agent, has been doing this since 1978. We have our lines open here. There's a lot of people that he has helped, thousands of people that you helped throughout the years.
That's right.
As well as there's a lot of people that call me direct. They'll email me looking for you, and we want you to call in here. He's giving away a lot of things right now, whether it's you or someone that you know, whether you're not, maybe you haven't done your taxes in a long time. You said the longest one was what?
1982.
1982. So you see, there's a lot of people out there that don't get them done, and he can help you. And it's really more of peace of mind of anything, and getting caught up. There's nothing like it. We've got our lines open here for everybody to get entered in to win the 2015 or 16 personal or business tax return. You're going to get along with that the tax organizer. That's free. That's wonderful. I think everybody should have that. The record retention guide, that's wonderful too. It's 4 pages long, and it'll tell you everything of what you need to keep and how long, both business and personal on that too, as well as you're going to get, he goes back 3 years for free for you. He does free consultations. He's also going to give you a Walmart card or a Starbucks card. Call in here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. So we have war stories every once in a while. I love your war stories. Let's talk about one.
Okay. Well, I talked a little bit about the gentleman that had listened to me for 4 years and finally came in. But I had another person that just called me yesterday, in fact, and he hadn't filed since 2006. So he's in real estate, and he made pretty decent money over the last 10 years or so. So, yeah, but he had also listened to me for about a year, I think he said. And so he called in, and we filled out the power of attorney, and I called IRS early this morning and got all the income information for him. So unfortunately, he's going to have to file for every year from 2007 up to 2015. Normally, IRS only makes you file for the last 6 tax years, but because he'd made a pretty decent amount of money, they're going to make him file all the way up to date. But anyway, they had started to put him in collections, and they were getting ready to start issuing levies. So when I called them this morning, I was able to get a collection hold. That's what meaning they won't issue any levies against your bank accounts or your wages or salaries. So we have 30 to 60 days to get all these tax returns. So we'll be a little bit busy doing those, but I'll be able to, I hope, get him a decent settlement. Probably he'll have to go on a monthly payment plan. Although we might, if he owes enough, we might do what they call an offer and compromise. You've probably heard on the TV and the radio where they talk about pennies on the dollar, and what what they're talking about there is the offer and compromise program, where you offer the government a certain percentage of what you owe, and then if they accept your offer, then they just write off the difference. So it's a good program. Unfortunately, he's not making as much money in real estate now as he was in the past, but that actually will work to his benefit as far as being able to get him a lower monthly payment or get an offer and compromise through for him. So fortunately, he called me because, like I said, they were on the verge of starting to send out levies, and we got those killed filled for at least 60 days anyway.
Well, Ted can help anyone from anywhere in the United States. That's what's wonderful about working with an enrolled agent as well. And he is here to help you. That's what he wants. It's not. Why do people not call right away? When you sit there and say for 3 years he's been listening to you for a couple of years, definitely had heard you, and yet he's just calling out. And it happens with a lot of the guests. It's interesting how that works. But you know what? It's not something that you should be worried about. This is something that is not. He's not going to get you in trouble. He's going to help you and find out where you stand. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, well, I think one reason people don't call is they think if I contact the IRS,
that's it.
That they're done. And that's absolutely not true, because this gentleman I was just talking about, another 30 days they would have levied his bank account and his commissions at the real estate office. So it's better to be proactive and come forward, because now they say, hey, this guy wants to get back on track, so we'll get all his tax returns filed up to date, and then we'll probably start either paying them back either through the payment plan or through the offer and compromise. So the worst thing you can do is to blow them off. And Carol talked about the guy that hadn't filed since 1982. This guy came into my office with a stack of unopened certified letters from the IRS, literally, I kid you not, at least a foot tall. So he'd been working off the books, but they had been trying to track him. They had levy notices out and all kinds of bad things. But he had just completely ignored them. And if he'd have been working for a company, I can assure you he'd been on a wage levy now, or had his bank account cleaned out.
Well, he has two Valley locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. The website, check him out. It is tedwatkinsea.com. You can call. He does a free consultation. The number is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. Our lines are open here, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this. Those procrastinators out there that no, seriously. But our lines are open. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100, and you're going to get yourself entered in to win a free 2015 or 16 business or tax return. That's at least $400 value right there. He does free consultations. You're going to get the tax organizer. That's 15 pages. I think everybody should have that. The record retention guide, that's 4 pages. That's great information. Also, you're going to get the free Walmart card or Starbucks card. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Give us another story before we go.
Well, I don't really have another story, but I would say that you're all probably aware the extension expired on this past Monday, the 17th. But that, if you're due a refund, that doesn't really mean anything. You still have 2.5 years to file to get your refunds, and even if you owe money, the faster you get your tax returns filed, the less the penalties will be. And a lot of people don't know that the late filing penalty is much less than the late payment penalty. That doesn't make any sense at all, because you would think they charge you more for not paying them, but they're so big on this filing compliance that they charge 5% a month for being late in filing, and they only charge you a 0.5% a month if we're not paying. So wow. It makes no sense at all. But at any rate, from now through the end of the year, my business does slow down a bit, and so we're able to turn tax returns around a lot faster than we can during the regular tax filing season. And even during the extension filing season, I have about 40% of my clients who go on extension, so I stay pretty busy from April through October. When
you go back and they get a power attorney from you, I don't remember if you said it or not, it's like $175. Go ahead.
Right. So if you have tax issues with IRS, the only thing I charge up front is $175, which is for a power of attorney fee. So I file that with IRS, and then I can find out exactly how many tax returns you need to file and how much you owe and where you are in the collection process. So I have a motto I kind of live by, that if you don't know what your problem is, there's no way you can solve it. So you have to know where you're at with the IRS first before we can come up with a strategy to settle your tax debt and keep them off your back.
What's the number one reason why people get themselves in trouble when they do it themselves?
Well, the number one problem I've seen in the last several years with TurboTax is most everybody e-files now. And TurboTax doesn't have an acknowledgement process. So when you send your return by e-file via TurboTax, you don't know whether the government's accepted it or not. Now, my software is a lot more expensive than TurboTax, so it has built-in checks, so I know if an e-file return has been rejected. And I've had probably 10 or 15 people in the last year or so that have been penalized. They said, well, I filed my tax return. And I call the IRS up and says, no record of tax return being filed. So they get hit with all these penalties, and TurboTax will not take any responsibility for that.
Wow.
You're on your own.
And another thing, if you try and call and talk to them yourself, you talk too much. So you don't want to do that. And tell them a little bit about you, because basically you're not invested in this in any way. Go ahead.
Right. So I would not suggest that you handle your own IRS case because, like Carol said, people talk too much. You're also a lot of people are nervous on the phone. So, but for me, I've been doing it since 1978. I've done literally thousands of cases with IRS, and I know a lot of these people that haven't retired yet. So, to me, it's a business and my job, and I don't get emotionally involved. A lot of people use 4-letter words with IRS agent, and that gets you exactly nowhere. Or they bring up all the tax protester arguments, and believe me, that's a losing proposition.
Well, they're brutal, and that you don't want them on to calling you and getting into your face. Please don't wait. If you have been listening to him for a long time, give us a call here. If you're just hearing him now, we have our lines open, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this. You're going to get entered into win your business or personal tax return if you haven't done them for 2015 and then 2016. That's at least a $400 value free to you right there. The tax organizer, it's wonderful. I believe that everyone should have that. And let's get organized now. Let's not wait. You're also going to get the record retention guide. That's 4 pages long to know what you should keep, how long you should keep it, and that's for both business and personal. You're also going to get, he goes back 3 years for free for you, as well as a free consultation. He also is going to give you a free Walmart card or a Starbucks card. You can't go wrong because he gives away almost everything. So give us a call here at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check him out. It's TedWatkinsEA.com. He does free consultations. Give him a call at 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670, or call in here and get entered into win, and let's get our taxes taken care of.